Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for your daily dose of morning breakfast Chelsea FC news. Today is a good one because it's less about speculation, less about looking at the watch and wondering what time it is as I point at a wrist that doesn't have a watch on it, but this would have been a more feasible option. We are now talking about a concrete signing. We're talking about Romelu Lukaku. If you didn't see my live reaction video announcement last night, you should go and check it out. It's a good video. And I also uploaded the first episode of Chelsea Fans React, a new interactive kind of fan cam-like series that we're doing here. And the first one went live, so you should go and check that out. But today, we're going to take a look at the words that Romelu Lukaku said when he was announced as a Chelsea player. We're going to listen to the words also of Marina Granovskaya. We're not going to listen to them. I'm going to read them out. We're going to talk about them. We're going to reflect on the signing and kind of start piecing in the jigsaw as opposed to what we've had for the last couple of days, where all of a sudden there's like a massive vacuum cleaner dump load of pieces of this jigsaw that we've kind of now been thrown the entire jigsaw puzzle, and now it's up to us to piece it together before Romelu Lukaku makes his debut, most likely at the Emirates next weekend against Arsenal. He's not going to be ready in time to feature against Crystal Palace this weekend because quarantine, you know, the C word, it's still going around, and Romelu Lukaku is a human being, the same as everybody else, and he has to quarantine. But the good news is he's actually already been training at Cobham, which is great news. Although it's on his own, it means that he's not going to have a couple of days to kind of bleed back into fitness. He's already doing his own work, and then it's just a case of merging him in with his teammates on Monday when this quarantine period ends. So without any further ado, I want to take a look at the words from the horse's mouth himself, Romelu Lukaku, his first statement as a Chelsea player. So he says, "I'm happy and blessed to be back at this wonderful club," said Lukaku. "It's been a long journey for me. I came here as a kid who had a lot to learn. Now I'm coming back with a lot of experience and more mature." I think, again, this kind of quote is going along with the fans' narrative of we saw Lukaku when he arrived, the dog's going crazy, when he arrived at Chelsea all those years ago. And at the time, we were absolutely blessed to have the King of Stamford Bridge, Didier Drogba, or one of the Kings of Stamford Bridge. Peter Osgood would have something to say. I'm sure he'd be very happy to hear that. Didier Drogba was there. Romelu Lukaku was a kid. He said it so himself here in this quote. And I think the timing of this was obviously very typical of Chelsea to be able to pick up quality young players. You look at Kevin De Bruyne, Mohamed Salah, two other options that we had around that time. But the way that Chelsea were progressing as a club, we were already winning trophies. We were used to winning trophies. And it was only really that one season under Frank Lampard where we had absolutely no choice but to go with the youth. Chelsea have been buying players now for a very long time. Since Roman Abramovich came in, it has been, we buy players, we win titles. We sack managers, we then win titles. Romelu Lukaku, when he first joined Chelsea, it wasn't the right time. But anyway, we move into the rest of the statement. The relationship I have with this club means so much to me. As you know, we all know that. I've supported Chelsea as a kid, and now to be back and try to help them win more titles is an amazing feeling. Now, I always love it when Chelsea sign a player who is quite obviously a fan of the club. I also love it when players sign for Chelsea and they don't see it as a stepping stone to a bigger club or another move later in their career. As of right now, there's no bigger club in the world than Chelsea Football Club. We're European champions, Super Cup winners, and who knows what else we're going to have accolade-wise to add to that this season. Romelu Lukaku has always been a Chelsea fan. When he signed for Manchester United, I believe, and many people believe, he wanted the move to Chelsea. That's why he managed to fire his agent, ended up at United. It wasn't the worst spell in terms of return as a goal scorer, but the move to Manchester United was never one that satisfied Romelu Lukaku as a person. The move to Inter Milan certainly satisfied him, because at Inter Milan, he understood that he was one of the more important players. He was loved by the fans, and in terms of the tactical system that he was playing under with Antonio Conte, it's one that absolutely to a T suits Romelu Lukaku as a footballer. We move. The way the club is going fits my ambitions perfectly. At 28 and just coming off winning Serie A, I think this opportunity comes at the right time, and hopefully we can build a lot of success together, or we can have a lot of success together, not to misquote the man. I think this is excellent. I think Lukaku can see the direction that Chelsea are going in. We know that Thomas Tuchel had a big say in this one. Thomas Tuchel said to the Chelsea board this summer, look, we're champions of Europe. I want to develop this team further. And in order to do that, I need to sign a big number 9. I need a big target man striker, a man that can play with his back to goal, invite in another attacking creative players, turn, score, left foot, right foot, power, pace. Romelu Lukaku is officially the footballing definition of everything that Thomas Tuchel wanted. So I think the ambition the club has right now, knowing they've got a world-class manager who's already proven at this club to win trophies, Lukaku is the dream ideal signing both for the club, the manager, and also for the player. Since I left Chelsea, it's been a long journey with a lot of ups and downs, but these experiences made me strong, and the challenge is to help the team win some more trophies, a lot more. I can't wait to get started and to help the club achieve more success. Obviously, Lukaku has signed for us on a 5-year deal until 2026, and I believe that Romelu Lukaku, the kind of player that he is, I think he's at least got 5 more years at the very top of the footballing pyramid inside of him. I think Romelu Lukaku is the kind of striker who his personality is almost just as impressive as the way that he performs on the pitch. I actually watched a video of him from the Footballers Players Tribunal, and he's such a real guy. And I absolutely love this. You know, he's got the story of coming from a family that didn't have very much, and then he speaks within that interview. Well, it's not really an interview, it's just his opportunity to speak up. He speaks about his granddad and how the last conversation he had with his granddad was him telling his granddad how much he was developing as a footballer, how he was getting better, he was getting this offer, things are looking great. His granddad only cared about him looking after his daughter, Romelu Lukaku's mother. So you know that Lukaku has always had a bit of a chip on his shoulder, and whether that is football or anything for a man, having a chip on your shoulder gives you a reason to go out there, pursue everything, and in Lukaku's case, with the big man that he is, steamroll through absolutely everything that comes towards him, and that is going to include Premier League defenders this season. As we scroll down, we listen to what Marina Granovskaya had to say about Romelu Lukaku, and she said, Romelu Lukaku is quite simply one of the world's best strikers and goal scorers. We are absolutely delighted to be bringing him back to the club he loves and are excited to be adding his talent to our Champions League winning squad. Again, absolutely perfectly poised, perfectly worded opening sentence from Marina Granovskaya. She kind of plays on all of the heartstrings of supporters, says all the right things, and for me, I just love hearing Champions League winning squad. And she's absolutely right. Romelu Lukaku is in the world-class category. He's an elite striker, and to add him to an already biggest trophy in the game winning squad is sensational. We were of course looking to build on last season's success, good to know, and Lukaku will play a big role in achieving our targets. I'm sure all Chelsea fans will join me in saying welcome home Romelu. I think again, there's a lot of rival fans that will be looking at this, waiting for Romelu Lukaku to slip up, to not perform at Chelsea, to completely destroy his career by going back to a club that he loves that didn't quite work out for him the first time, rightly so, for all of the right maturity reasons. Rival fans will be looking for that. I just don't see any way that that's going to happen. Having watched a lot of Romelu Lukaku his whole career, he's just getting better and better with age. And I think the maturity now of the man and of the player, this is the perfect recipe for Chelsea Football Club. And then it moves on. There's no actual other quotes, things that have been written from the guy who's ever wrote this article on the Chelsea FC website. I'm absolutely delighted that Lukaku is coming back to Chelsea. Let me know your final thoughts on this one. Of course, we're going to see Crystal Palace tomorrow, so there'll be a match preview out later as well as my Premier League prediction. So it's another busy day of content here on GBFC. We're going to wrap up the Lukaku stuff for now, but we got 2 more stories to kind of go through here today on this Chelsea FC news video for you. And the first one is coming from Roma. Roma are now apparently desperate for Tammy Abraham to join them. There was the story that they were going to give Tammy until the weekend in order to decide, and I've got a feeling that Lukaku being announced coming through the door might just be the push that Tammy Abraham needed to make the decision to go. It's hard for Tammy because he's been at Chelsea his entire life. And I think he probably looks at Lukaku joining. Of course, he wouldn't say this and he wouldn't allude to this with anything in front of the cameras. But you could imagine that Tammy might see this as like, God, I got given the chance with the number 9. And then Thomas Tuchel comes in. Frank Lampard was using me. Tuchel comes in. I don't even get in the squad for the FA Cup final. Now he's got Romelu Lukaku. What chance do I possibly have? It wouldn't be unfair on Tammy or unfair of Tammy to actually think this way. So I think today, within the next 24 hours, we might see some progressions with Tammy Abraham moving to Roma. And if it does go through, then it pretty much means that Chelsea will have spent 0 net on Romelu Lukaku because of all of the player sales we've made this season alone, which is absolutely insane. And I'm very happy to hear it. Moving in to another potential player sale, Davide Zappacosta could be on his way to Atalanta. He'd probably be a backup right back or wing back in Atalanta's case. Zappacosta, we know there's not really much future for him at Chelsea. I think over the course of the last couple of seasons where we've been bleeding through youth players, for Zappacosta in particular, if he couldn't get in the team and Reece James has broken through in the last 2 seasons, he knows, Chelsea know, that Zappacosta is not a future Chelsea right back. So a move to Atalanta is a great move for his career. But anyway, going to wrap up this Chelsea FC news video now. There's been loads of videos going out over the course of the last few days this week on GBFC. So if you did miss anything, go back and have a look. There's been a load of different variety of content. I'm sure you guys will love it. Later on today, there's going to be my Premier League predictions, followed by the first Premier League match preview of the season. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all of the love. I'll see you guys later. Come on, you Blues.